Greetings, this is James Gilliland with As You Wish Talk Radio, broadcasting live from the East City Ranch. I've got all kinds of news flashes and things to announce, but I'm going to skip them all just because I have an awesome guest tonight, Lisa Renee. And a lot of people know her. For those who don't, you can go to energeticsynthesis.com and read all about it. We have so many things to cover, and without wasting any time, we're going to welcome Lisa on the show. Lisa, are you with us?
Yes. Hi, James. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I haven't seen you since July. There's been so much going on. It feels like it's been, years. It's only been a few months, but we're living lifetimes in a week these days.
It does. It feels like that was a couple lifetimes ago, it seems like.
It really does.
Yeah, things are changing. Everybody's changing so fast. It's hard to keep up with everything. There's so many things I'd like to cover on the show. I know we probably don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but everybody's asking about, the Norway lights, the spiral there. And,
yes.
I've done quite a bit of research on the inner level and the outer level as well. And I'm just not buying the official story. How about you?
Well, I find it really fascinating that you and I are reconnecting over the last, July 4th, because for me personally, all I can do is really offer my personal experience and truth with that phenomena, because I do know there's a lot of people publicly making comments about it. There's all kinds of different theories about what people think it is or isn't. And certainly I don't want to, state this as, because I really don't know in terms of all I can offer is my own experience with it. And so the fascinating part of the synchronicity of it is that my awareness with working on this part of the energy system of our planet, because I am a grid worker, I work with the architecture of the planetary consciousness fields. And as a part of those management structures, my teams and I were utilizing circuits for a turquoise ray hookup. Now, the Guardians call this the 13th gate circuit into the neutron window. And when I was asked to come to ECETI in July, I had no idea that I would be working with the 13th circuit, otherwise known as the turquoise field or turquoise ray of light, the aquamarine ray. And, I think I had sent you and I had talked a few things about what we thought was happening with the ECETI Ranch, and the Guardians gave us a little bit of information about a specific frequency transmission that was coming in that July 4th weekend, but I had no idea it was the 13th circuit, otherwise known as the turquoise ray. So actually at your ranch, there were several different projects that were instituted within the planetary fields there, specifically between the circuits that connect into Mount Adams, which is basically at the foot of your ranch, into Mount Hood and into Mount Shasta. And so when I actually left and we completed our conference and the grid work at that particular area, the Guardians and many interdimensional beings, most of them from the Andromedan core, because that is where the 13th gate circuitry is extending from, is actually, from my understanding, our connection point of the circuit was into the center of the galactic core through our Sagittarian galaxy and into the Andromedan core. These hook up into two black hole cores, and a new frequency is expelled from the next universe, and the color of that carrier wave is aquamarine. So according to the Guardian races, this particular frequency ray, because again, yes, we know what turquoise is, we see that in our visible light spectrum, but according to them, this is a new quality of energetic spectrum in the palette of, let's say, rays and colors and energies that are being exposed to our particular planet and the holographic reality of that, system here. We're accessing a whole new octave of energy. So what I experienced on December 9th was the physical, tangible manifestation of what I saw at your ranch in July in my own inner vision. So needless to say, I was ecstatic and thrilled because as a person who does remote viewing and works with consciousness fields in this way, many times it's very hard to determine at what level is something you're working with in the architecture of the blueprint going to become actually physically manifest in this reality. I mean, I never know that. If it's going to actually be manifested here, will we actually see it in this visible light spectrum with the third dimensional eyes? You know, because the point is there were photos, stills, and also video of this event, which to me is so exciting because this is a manifestation of something I see in terms of a stargate or a wormhole formation, but I've never seen it captured in this reality, you know, on a physical photo. So I'm really excited. That's my experience with it.
You know, I had pretty much the same experience. As soon as I looked at that, I said, that's a gate, that's a wormhole. And my next question is, I wonder why it's here and who came through it or who went back through it. I don't know which way it worked, but that was my first experience. And then I heard all the stuff out there. Everybody had an idea. Everything from, you know, the standard media out there saying it's a Russian rocket. And what I found out, too, is that the Ministry of Defense for Russia said, no, it's not our rocket. It's a completely separate event. And what happened there is classified. They can't talk about it. So that was their,
really?
Yeah, that was their first news flash on it. And they made it very clear, no, it's not our rocket. It was a separate, you know, a totally separate event. And and I thought that was interesting. And then later on, after pressure, you know, to bring this into something people can handle, you know, to keep it inside the box.
Exactly.
Oh, they go, oh, yeah, that was our rocket, you know. Probably after a little cash changed hands and a few other things, but, you know, or somebody else put a little pressure on them. And then I heard another story, which is interesting, where they're saying, oh, that was HARP, and it was Project Bluebeam, according to inside sources, you know, people's inside sources. And every time I hear somebody say inside sources, it's usually a channel for disinformation, and they love to do this, and that's how they leak out the disinformation, and people go public with it, and they end up with egg on their face later, you know, like all the human abductions and human cattle mutilations and all this stuff, or human mutilations. They found out later that was all disinformation released from a false source, you know, as they look down. So whenever I see people, you know, getting inside information, I just go, oh God, you know, here we go again, you know. So you know, but you know, they do have a HARP installation behind those mountains, and and you know, it is a possibility. But to me, I'm not buying that. You know, whenever I hear inside information, and whenever I hear people going public who have done this in the past and have been dead wrong with their inside information, you know, I tend to say, wait a second, I'm not going to accept that one, although it is a very exotic excuse for what happened. I'm still sticking to, for my inner guidance and just gut feeling, that that's a wormhole and something came through it.
I agree.